It was only February. And as much as I might have doomsday been preparing for some things and some changes with the Trump administration, I wasn't expecting it to affect me or my family immediately. Aloha, my name is Laura and I'm one of the owners here at Sunny's Local Grind. So you've probably by now heard a couple of my employees tell their story about when Homeland Security came into our restaurant on February 11th. I was not here, except for the fact that my manager on duty, Annie, had called me and I was on the phone for portions of this. We didn't have any sort of formal policy in place for how our management should react if their government storms in asking for their papers. We didn't have any form of policy for my staff to stand up for their rights, to stand up for their potential international coworkers. And we didn't know that we needed to have that in place, which is part of why my voice wavers now, because it's scary. It's something that we weren't anticipating to happen immediately. It never is supposed to happen to you. And as Annie and Lisa both pointed out, we're small, we're local owned, we're community oriented. So our seams are international, but our seams are also I-9s and above board and legal. So when Annie calls me and says, do I have to find these I-9s and give them to these people? At first, I don't even know. I'm quickly Googling the answer. So as we're looking up the answer, we find out that, of course, you have to have a warrant before you can even ask for these documents. And on the Homeland Security's webpage alone, which was one of the sources I was quickly looking at, they stated you have to come in with a letter of intent. You have to identify yourself to a manager. You cannot go into private areas. And Lisa pointed on private because we feel that this is our restaurant and it's private. Well, in fact, the kitchen is private. The Homeland Security had no business being in my kitchen, and they were in the kitchen. They asked the staff for their documents. 2 of my cooks come from the island of Sepang. I don't trust this version of Homeland Security to know that that makes them American citizens. You know, they might not have the same exact passport I do. Actually, they do. They have 2 passports. In February, my chef thought it was funny to show his Saipan passport. We thought that was funny. It should be funny. It's not funny, because what if that Homeland Security officer or agent didn't recognize that that still makes him an American citizen? We're seeing this problem right now with Bad Bunny. Everybody crying that this isn't an American, decrying that this isn't someone that represents them. Puerto Rico is American. Sunny's now, as a small business, has an ICE policy in place. Should the Department of Homeland Security storm in again, we are going to pull our phones out. We're going to make sure we record it for you guys this time, because we didn't know that the public would need to see this so quickly. And in such a small mom and pop, we affect nobody. You know, we don't pay a big enough taxes to affect the next tax bracket. So still very surprised, and we felt very targeted at the time. Now we do see it happening more and more often, but you're not supposed to fear hiring international staff. You feel you're part of a melting pot. I'm not supposed to fear talking publicly right now because I have an international staff. I'm not supposed to fear that because I'm American and I have that right. So that's what I take from this incident as a person, that my own rights have been and can be trampled on. It's what I take as an American citizen that has from a family of immigrants and employs immigrants, that without due process, they can't make jokes that should be funny, because that puts them in danger. So that's scary. And as a business owner, I will continue to hire foreign and immigrant with I-9s because that's part of my community, but I shouldn't have to think twice about it. That makes me mad. So thank you for telling our stories, because they are happening at home now. They're happening in our tiny little 800 square foot restaurants. They're happening to veterans. They're happening to women-owned restaurants. It's in our community, and it's been here since February from our own experience. So I hope that whatever message you take from this, you help us maintain our rights. Thank you for listening. Aloha.